Let's do it. This is the inside scoop. We're going to start here with the sack from Zach Allen. Really big play. I think the Chiefs, this was their second drive, and they were doing a good job of, marching down the field. I think they're the number one team on third down right now in the league, so being able to stop them is very important. So they got 4 down, and what they're going to actually do is they're only going to rush 3. The 2 outside linebackers, and they have Zach Allen. They dropped off another outside linebacker, and they have Cody Barton. So they have 2 spies on Patrick Mahomes. That's because he, 3rd and 9. He did it earlier on in the game. He'll find a way to make it first down, and you definitely don't want to have that happen. So great thing about this is they were able to rush 3 and get home. So Jonathan Cooper gets a lot of pressure on this tackle. He's able to pick the guard, which allows Zach Allen to wrap from his position here all the way around. Takes him some time. He's 300 plus, but he gets there. That's
true.
And then gets another stack and, makes a big play, gets Pat Mahomes down. And I think this is what helped the Broncos be a dominant defense all day. Holding the Chiefs to 16 points, I think you're a dominant defense. I don't care what people say, but this was a big play early on in the game from Zach. And we talked about him in last week and not having the impact that he wanted, but this week I think he came with it.
How often did you guys use 2 spies?
Never. I don't know if we ever did that.
I know, because I'm curious how you'd even do that. Like, you just assign one guy the right side, one guy the left side?
Yeah, just stay on your side. If he comes to your side, take him down. If he doesn't, I don't know, stay backside. Because that way, he does all the scrambling where he'll spin, he'll go all the way to the left, he'll spin back and come all the way to the right. That way you're never pressed as the spire, to try and make a play on both sides of the field. It's smart.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
When you have 2 spies, can they cheat into coverage just a little bit more? Or do you? I mean, you could still blow it. No, yeah.
Yeah, that's your job is to spy Mahomes.
That's
Whoever's
crazy.
covering, let them cover, and you get to Mahomes.
That's crazy.
All right, next play. I thought this play was interesting just because of, the personnel and how they've been using Marvin Mims a little bit. So now they have Marvin Mims in the backfield. They've been using him a little bit more as a running back this game, which was, the first time I had seen all season.
Yep.
But they had some good plays for him and some plays that worked really well. So they're able to get what is like a stretch with an OC, and that means the tackle and the center are pulling up, and they do a good job. Wattenberg and Mike McGlinchey of getting outside and creating space. Little Jordan Humphrey, there's a nice little cell block on this corner just to hold him there, and then allows McGlinchey to come up and take him out. But it's a good job, man. I mean, everybody's getting blocked up. Wattenberg's coming up for that corner, and they do a good job of holding this edge. And Marvin Mims is able to use his speed, and I think, we talked about why is Jaleel not in for these type of plays, but I think Marvin Mims adds a different spark with his speed. Not the shiftiest guy, but just his ability to get from 0 to 100 quickly. And, it's not a very big space here, but he's able to find space because McGlinchey's doing a great job blocking and sealing off Tranquil, the linebacker. Wattenberg's doing a great job on the corner. So ultimately, this goes for 13 yards, and I just thought it was great to see, Marvin Mims being used in a new way.
Yeah, I love it. Again, this is one of the perks to having Luke Wattenberg back. He's very athletic. He can go out there and make those plays. And that's something we were kind of worried about with Lloyd Cushenberry leaving, because this was one of his strengths as well.
Getting out in space.
As a center, to snap the ball and pull out in front of a guy as fast as Marvin Mims, that's tough to do. And the other fun thing about it is, so they gave, I think they gave Marvin 3 snaps at halfback against the Saints. But in all those, they still had a running back on the field.
Yes.
It was mostly Jaleel. This time, it's Lil Jordan Humphrey, it's Devaughn Vele, it's Cortland Sutton, and I think that's Troutman in at tight end. That might be Kroll. So there's no actual running back, which just puts the defense in the bind.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool if at some point you saw a tweak where you just motion Marvin out.
It's coming.
Go empty.
It's coming. It's going to be part of a package, and I think that's why you put him in the backfield, is because you have to make teams afraid that he's going to run the ball.
Yeah.
So you can't just get into a dime defense or something very light to protect the pass, because we'll just start running it if you think that's the case. And if you get into your heavy personnel, your base personnel, your nickel personnels, all right, now we're going to just spread everybody out. We're going to throw the football.
Yeah. And I think that at some point, you've got to be able to run between the tackles just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. Just show that it's possible.
Not necessarily. Not if your tackles are pulling. Your tackles
Yeah,
are pulling
create
out.
the numbers.
They're creating numbers, and then you're creating gaps you're hitting the interior. You're not actually going to the outside, so it does change the gaps. If those guys can move and block in space, I don't think there's any reason to really have Marvin running in the A gap or the B gap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
too many
probably the best.
linebackers in there.
I'm curious. I did a story with him after the first time he did that. He was he loved it. I'm so excited to get to go ask him about actually running the ball, because that's different than just being a receiver lining up in the backfield catching swing passes.
I don't know. It's similar.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's not going to be downhill at any point.
That's true.
That wouldn't be smart.
That is true.
Next play we have is a touchdown to Vele. And I just like this play, and I like the play design. Ultimately because, you have rules and, understandings as a defense. And anytime you get 4 strong, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 guys to one side of the formation. They always tell you that something's coming back. And then as the front side linebacker, your thought process is, okay, I'm going to drop the first one coming back because I know I have the backside linebacker here to help. Well, the good thing about this play is on the snap, they take Jaleel and swing him this way. So Tranquil has to go because that's his coverage. But Bolton still, I guess he doesn't see it, doesn't understand. He still thinks, okay, I can drop one back. So instead of staying on Vele right here, he drops him back thinking that Tranquil's going to be there, and that's why Vele is so wide open on this play. And I thought it was a great play, but outside of that, I loved the concept. I mean, you got a bunch right here. You have the point going inside. The tight end is going to go vertical, and then Lil Jordan Humphreys is going to run the follow. So what this does is it creates levels. So let's just say Nick Bolton does stay inside and go with him. With the tight end going vertical, that makes it hard for whoever's guarding Little Jordan Humphreys right here to be able to follow him inside out. So if he's in there with Vele, then Little Jordan Humphreys is wide open. I think the play design, and I think actually the ball was meant to go to Little Jordan Humphreys because of the play design, but because Nick Bolton didn't know what he was doing or just messed up on this play, it allowed for Vele to get a touchdown. But I just love the play and how it was put together.
Yep. No, absolutely. It's also interesting, like, because Bolton in the second frame is just like staring at Jaleel. Like he's got to see that he's going over there, but he just doesn't. He doesn't take Vele anyway.
Yeah, because even when that guy doesn't stay front side, you're thinking, okay, he's going to block or he's doing something on that edge to where my player's not like completely vacated. My other linebacker's not completely vacating his zone. But they did a great job of knowing what they were in and putting the play together that really worked well.
Yep.
All right, so this is a play to Cortland. This was the shot, 3rd and 1. I thought it was a great play by the Broncos. They have everybody lined up on defense. Everybody's downhill. Everybody thinks it's a run, and it's completely one-on-one here. And what the Broncos did is they actually started the tight end and the big tight end. So, to make the Chiefs feel like it was going to be a run even more, they brought in another tackle, treated him as a tight end. He was reported eligible.
I think he went. Did he go in motion on that play too?
Yeah. So you got in theory 3 tight ends on this side. A big tight end goes in motion. So everybody and their mama is thinking that this is going to be a run. It's downhill. Estimates the running back. You sell it. You don't put Jaleel in there. No, but you sell it. It's downhill running. You guys better be prepared. So it's a great job of, and I think that's why everybody's a little bit late. Like, I think these players got a good get off, but usually you're like, if it's a rundown, you're only getting off to stop the run. You're not trying to necessarily get into the backfield and put together your best pass rush move. So it allowed for Bo Nix to have more time, a clean pocket, and deliver a great ball to Cortland Sutton. Cortland does a great job of beating his guy, one-on-one, creating separation as he does. Great throw, great catch, and this is what we wanted to see from Troy Franklin. Similar spot in the field, but, him and Cortland Sutton are able to connect.
Yep, and in coverage, he was first team All-Pro last year, Trent McDuffie.
Yep.
And Court just cooked him.
Yep.
That's a big play. The Court made his mistakes. He had the drops. It wasn't a perfect game. But the fact that he's able to go one-on-one with a guy like that and create that much space, it's worth keeping an eye on. And it was McDuffie in coverage on the 3rd and 6 at the end, too. So just keep in mind.
Trying to tell you guys, what I'm saying?
That's
top
number
10.
1 corners. Imagine if he got to go against number 2 corners.
Trying to tell you guys, nobody wants to listen to me, but
nobody
one day.
does.
This was a good play. You know, it didn't end up counting, but I wanted to put it on there just because, you know, the refs make some bad calls, but it is what it is. It's 3rd and 9. The Chiefs were driving. This was a great play by Nick Bonitto. You know, when you become a good pass rusher and you're starting to make plays and get sacks, they're going to do different things to try and slow you down. And this time they have Travis Kelce chipping him. And a chip just means that he's going to hit him before he releases on his route to try and slow him down. But the great pass rushers, they understand how to use the chip and not try to run away from it. So he runs into Travis Kelce. And what happens is he sees that there's space on the interior. Well, if Travis is chipping me outside, I don't want to work back outside to get my sack. He just beats the tackle inside and lets the chip help him get to the quarterback. He does a great job of getting to Patrick Mahomes. He had a really good day. He could have had, you know, maybe 4 sacks today. And I thought he had a great day. This one ends up coming back for the illegal contact downfield, which I thought was trash. But I wanted to give Nick some credit. I mean, I think that's a veteran move. Use the chip. Don't run away from it. Utilize it.
Yeah, totally. And it's fun to see. So most of the day he's going up against Kingsley Suamataia or something like that, the BYU rookie.
Yes.
And
just flying by him.
Exactly. Which I think you could discount it and say like, well, he's doing it against a rookie, a guy who's not supposed to be out there. That's what good pass rushers do. Is all day they just beat that guy over and over and over, and you send the chip and you still beat him. Like it's Khalil Mack had one of those games against the Broncos. I can't remember. It might have been Michael Schofield, Ty Sembrello. We'll throw both names out there, split the blame. But that's what it feels like sometimes. Where it's just like a great pass rusher can just beat up on a guy like that. And Nick Bonitto beat up on a guy like that. So who's to say if he's a great pass rusher yet? But there are more and more indications every single week that he can be a pretty dominant guy.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's going up against this guy.
True.
You know, this is 10 games in. Like they've every single team they played have gone up against this guy. And I don't know any pass rusher that had a game like that against the guy. Yeah. So maybe he does stand out. Maybe he is different. And I think it's to be seen. All right. So, you know, you saw the Broncos do it, and then now we see the Chiefs do it. And so I thought it was cool to bring this up because a little bit different play, but same play at the same time. So you're going to motion this guy over, so you get 4 strong, just like the Broncos did. You get a bunch formation, you get the running back on this side, and you get 4 strong. Well, what they have, they're in man free. So what Cody wants to do is drop one back to PJ Locke on this side. So if you go right here, running back ends up stepping up. So there's no need to worry about him. The unfortunate thing is that they kind of run the similar play that the Broncos do. But you got the first guy going vertical, you got the tight end coming inside, and then you get Travis Kelce on the follow instead of little Jordan Humphreys on the follow. So because that happens, we got to do a better job in 2 areas because we got to press here with the running back coming back so PJ can take the running back, and then we can get closer on here because I actually think that this tight end is open too.
Yes.
So this tight end is open too, and you have inside help from the safety. But the problem is when they run this follow route, we got to do a great job of coming down and squeezing to this tight end because even though you have inside help, I mean, he's 5 yards deep in the end zone, so anything they catch is going to be a touchdown. And I think this is a play the Broncos have to clean up because, in my eyes, there's 2 tight ends open in the end zone, not just one. And I think they have to do a better job, 1, of squeezing, and 2, of once this guy goes vertical and he goes to Riley, okay, we got to get down and press him. DB versus a tight end, I'm taking a DB every day on quick intermediate routes.
Definitely. Again, this was just such a strange play too because they picked up the illegal man downfield the play before.
Yes.
So the Broncos would have been able to choose between a 3rd and 7 and 4th and 2, or 3rd and goal from the 7, 4th and goal from the 2. You'd have to think they'd take the 3rd and 7 probably. Yeah. But that is it would change the dynamics for sure.
It did, and I gotta be honest. You know, I hate sticking up for the rest, but I watched the film on the men downfield, and so they're at the same point right here on like the 2-yard line. And if you watch the guys block, they block till about here, and then as Patrick Mahomes started extending the play, they retreat.
Oh, is that allowed? So you can go downfield and come back upfield?
Well, I know that like illegal man outfield is there's 3 yards
Yeah.
of cushion.
Yeah.
So they started on the 2 and they never got in the end zone. So that means they weren't over 2 yards. And then on top of that, they started to backpedal. I think that's why they picked it up.
Okay.
I know it sucks, but
yeah.
this one's heartbreaking. Like this is what will happen if you can't, corral Patrick Mahomes. Like this is how he beats you.
Mm-hmm.
This is 3rd and 13. The score right now is 14-10. You're about to punt the ball to you, but unfortunately, this play leads to 3 more points and eventually the loss for the Denver Broncos. So Nick Bonitto does a great job, one-on-one with this tackle, and then just completely blows by him, beats him with speed. Does a nice little dip, and he gets to Patrick Mahomes. So you're like, man, it's about to be,
That's a sack.
3rd and 25. It's a sack. You know what I'm saying? They're going to punt us the ball. We're going to be in good field position. But I don't know how Patrick Mahomes, does his little magic trick and is able to get out of this. And this is where he really hurts you. When you're supposed to have him down, when you're supposed to, have a great play for your defense, he ends up getting out of the tackle from Nick Bonitto and then ends up scrambling to his right side and finds the one and only Samaje Perine, former Bronco. And this play ends up going for 34 yards, one of their biggest plays of the day. And it really did, it hurt as a Bronco, especially on defense when you have them backed up and you're about to get off the field and you have to find a way to make some more plays to hold them to a touchdown, hold them to a field goal, which they do. But this was a huge play from their offense, and this hurts when you're trying to, corral Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, those just stink. And it's Samaje too, which again, happy for Samaje, great guy. But boy, does it sting to see like a guy that you let go to a division rival and then make a big play
and do what he was doing here.
Exactly.
That's exactly who Samaje Perine
exactly.
was for us.
Like that's what you decided you didn't need. Like you were happy Javonte, Jaleel, Audric, and they're fun backs. They're doing a solid job.
Yep.
But you decided you didn't need that, and you just gave that to them, and then it comes back to bite you.
Yeah. It definitely
Just like when
did.
Josie made those couple hits. Worked out in the end though.
Yeah, he was having a good game. He was having a good game. All right, so this is something that I feel like our O-line and our pass protection can get better. This is one way. So they send a blitz, but I think we misdiagnose like who's rushing versus who's dropping. And what happens is we get, these 2 rushers, the corner and the safety blitzing, and we have 1-on-1 here, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on 2. We have more than enough bodies to, block this up. And what I don't like about it is as soon as the play happens, the left guard feels people vacating but still decides to stay on the guy rushing the A-gap, the D tackle. And so instead of, coming back and trying to get one of these, maybe Bo makes one guy miss and is able to complete a play downfield, it just leaves us so voided on this left side. I think it's something we got to get cleaned up because if we don't, they're going to continue to do this. And it gets 2 on 1 right here. Bo ends up making a smart play and throwing it away. Doesn't hurt us. But it hurts us in the same way because it is 3rd and 9. We do have to punt. We don't get another play after that. So it wasn't a sack, but it still was a good play for their defense.
Who's in charge of setting those protections? Like, is it the offensive line? Is it the quarterback?
Primarily the center, especially with a young quarterback. Bo may have some direction, but I think that, especially right now with everything that he's learning, I think it's primarily the center, and they got to be able to diagnose who's coming and who's going. And then also, a couple things like hard count would help. So you can ID protections, and then you can,
take a step.
See where you need to send, more blockers. So hopefully they get that figured out.
And I kind of thought that they had cleaned this issue up. It felt like the first couple weeks of the season, the Seahawks game in particular, I mean, that's what they do is put you in situations like this. But it felt like in recent weeks, you hadn't seen so many just blown protections where there's, again, like, what is this? 3 guys rushing against 1 blocker and 5 guys blocking 2. Like, and I don't know if that's like a Luke Wattenberg coming back thing because, again, like I thought when Forsythe was the center, we didn't see as much of this, but there's a lot of speculation and making assumptions there. So you can't say for sure it's just Wattenberg struggles.
Yeah, I don't think it's just Wattenberg. I think it's, the O-line as a whole, being a little bit better and understanding, how different teams want to blitz you. And that's one of the things that the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs is really good at. He usually is able to find free rushers. Like that's, one of the things he's known for. But I felt like there were multiple times in this game where there was free rushers. Some resulted in sacks. Some Bo was able to throw the ball away. But I did feel like there was free rushers a couple times this game.
Me too.
This one right here was the play to Cortland. Supposed to be one of the plays that win the game. We're marching down the field, 3rd and 6. We need to play from Bo. We need to play from Cortland. And, they definitely deliver right here. And doesn't lead to the win that we want, but it's a great route from Cortland. Cortland is one-on-one once again. Going again, that's good on good. And Bo does a great job of kind of like moving the pocket. He doesn't stay set right here. He moves the pocket. Estimate comes across. And Cortland does a great job. Great throw from Bo. Great separation created by Cortland. And with Cortland, it's not like he needs 5 yards, to call that separation. He needs a step or two. You put put the ball right on him, and he does a great job of coming down with it. And this was going to be the play that helped us win the game. Great throw from Bo. 3rd and 6, phenomenal. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
Should have been, though.
Yeah.
That should have been the one that did it. Like, that's why Mahomes doesn't see the field again.
Yep.
Just got to make the kick. But this is a great play from Bo. I think it's easy to ignore that just because, it's like a 10-yard completion over the middle of the field. But he drops back, has like a little mini rollout, has to step up and climb the pocket. And it takes a really good throw. Like, especially in the beginning of the season, there were a bunch of throws where he was trying to hit a guy across the middle and then leave it behind him. And even last week, we had a lot of discussion about the interception at the beginning of the game where the ball just was a little too far out in front of little Jordan Humphrey.
Yep.
This one, though, he hits Court right in stride. And there's a big difference between right there and, 9 inches this way, 9 inches that way, So that's maybe the best throw of the day from Bo. The deep ball to Court is great too, but there were 2 steps of separation there. That's just dropping in the bucket.
Yes, and I feel like this was the best throw for me because, yes, the one to Cortland was like perfect. The one in the end zone, it was perfect. But this one he didn't set his feet. And for the whole season, that's been his problem.
Yep.
Like when he doesn't set his feet, the throw is anywhere. And, for one of the first times of the season, I felt like he didn't set his feet, but threw a very accurate pass and hit Cortland right in the chest. And I think it was a great pass. And I loved it because his feet weren't set.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something we even talked about before the season, like before the draft, that, Patrick Mahomes doesn't set his feet as often as he should.
Yeah.
He gets away with it, though, because he puts the throws on target. Every quarterback is going to miss more throws when their feet aren't set versus when they are. Some are just good enough at doing it that it doesn't matter. Like, you can live with it.
Yeah.
Because it brings a bunch of other good things with it. With Bo, we're just figuring out how much does it matter. And I think for the most part, we've seen you got to set your feet a little bit more because you're missing those throws. But there is evidence that he can make those throws. Again, when he gets outside of the pocket, slings them, kind of dropping the arm angle. It's great to have a guy who's capable of that. And he made this one, which is one of the biggest throws of his career.
For the time, yeah. At the time.
So far, yeah.
Yep. It was a good throw. All right, this is the play that everybody was talking about. We don't want to talk about it, but we have to talk about it. And this is where we get blown up right here. And you just see it's 2 defenders. And what they do is they go shoulder to shoulder, and they just try to both press one of their shoulders and all their weight into the middle of Forsyth's chest. Like, that's what you're taught when you're working on the double team as a rusher. And unfortunately, it feels like they kind of get through there with ease. It really feels like they had even 3 because he kind of dips into this gap instead of staying upfield into the C gap. And you were talking about looking for a new bed.
Yeah, I was.
He might have been testing out some beds because he is laid out right here. Like, this is not where you want to be if you're supposed to be blocking for protection. And it allows them to get through and make a big play here. But we just got to be sturdier. You got a little bit of lunging out of this tackle. So maybe him lunging, his leg wasn't as secure behind foresight as he needed it to be. Just all around, this was not a good play for the Denver Broncos, and it sucked that this was the play that we needed to win the game. And if you look at it, we purposely took the snap and ran to the left side of the the right hash to be able to kick where Will Lutz needed it. I think if we're in the middle of the field or from the right hash, it doesn't track this way.
Yeah,
it tracks more straight or over the right side of the line, and I think that it doesn't happen.
That's true.
You had to put the ball where your kicker wanted the ball to go. Unfortunately,
that is. I hadn't thought of that. I do have this answer now from Sean, but I hadn't thought of that part where, like, you really are kicking over the weak point of your line, which is something, again, like the Chiefs saw on tape, and Sean gave them a bunch of credit for seeing that on tape. But he was asked whether he had seen something in the left side of the offensive line, and it's a long answer, but we're constantly each week making corrections, not just with the field goal unit, with the offense, a certain protection, a certain coverage. When something like that happens, and it's not the first, like it could be a trick play, it could be whatever, it's pretty common for the team that had success with it to say, hey, we saw whatever. Credit them for that. They exploited an area that we obviously felt was fixed and stronger, but not fixed enough, which is interesting. I wanted to say it's not Alex's fault. It's on us as coaches and all that sort of stuff. But that's interesting because they had also seen it. They thought they fixed it. And I wonder what they did that they thought fixed it, because
I think this happens all the time in football, though. Like, even as a linebacker, if I have a bad day in man coverage, like, my team is going to go work on it, throughout the week and make sure I get better in my man coverage and, try to give me tools and tips. And it may not be until 3 weeks later where I'm asked at a very important time, like, hey, you got to cover this guy. It's easy to work on something. I think it's harder to put it into practice, especially when you get tired, you're fatigued. You're gonna go back to what you feel comfortable doing, one. And two, it's hard to correct stuff in season and be very good at it. Like when I had a bad game in man coverage, we corrected, and I would get better. I couldn't be the best within that season. Maybe that took me next year to get better, but I think it happens all the time in football. It just sucks that it happened like this.
It really does suck.